Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We would normally be doing a Tuesday morning my time stream for the HERd SHEries. But this week, because we're using the time trial module in Bologna, it makes it very, very difficult to provide a decent level of stream. So what we're going to do this week is we are going to have a look at the Bologna course, have a quick chat on tactics, talk about bike selection, and Ben will tell us many, many things about this course, no doubt. But so I am joined by Ben and Craig. Ben, are you a fan of this course?
I love it. Absolutely love it. It's such an awesome time trial course. It's actually the first time trial I did in Zwift, and I had absolutely no idea what I was walking into that day, much to my older brother's amusement. So, Craig, what do you reckon?
This is just awesome. I mean, as far as time trial courses go, so Tempest Fugit is really the other one that we can use the TT module on, and there's no place to hide on that either. In that it's dead flat. But this one's really interesting because it's such a cool split with the relatively flat, and we'll get into our disagreement on this, Ben, later, first 6 kilometers, and then 2 kilometers of very steep hill. And for a lot of people, it works out to a fairly close time split between the two. So you're spending about as much time on the flat as the climb. So it's a really interesting thing to look at. So, James, I know you love this.
Yeah, no, I love this course. I think it's such a good benchmark on where you are with your sort of 20-minute fitness. I love the sort of level of thinking behind it, what you're looking to do on the flat, what you're looking to do on the climb, chats around bike selection, and on that note, shall we say that the Canyon Speed Max with Zip 858s is the best way to go?
If you've got the 858s, yeah, definitely. No question on the frame. The next frame, if you don't have the level for the Canyon, probably the Cervelo P5. But an all-round wheel is what you want for this. You want something that climbs reasonably well. You want something that's relatively quick as well. So 858s, 454s, DT Swiss, basically the time trial-y sort of wheels, I reckon.
So, just for the sake of discussion, you wouldn't choose a climbing bike?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just now, knowing I've got a bit of a delay on the feed, we look at the time trial that we're watching here, James. So you're doing 40k an hour. GCN have just done a really good video about how to actually optimize your speed for power. If you're on a climbing bike, you're not doing 44k's an hour. You're doing maybe 38. You're going to lose so much time on the flat compared to the time you might gain on the climb. But there's a question to be made on the bike swap. And as Craig raised a couple of minutes ago, as you start getting deeper into C and D, there's a really good argument for it. But top of C up, TT bike to the top.
Yeah, and there's a good article on Zwift Insider that basically says that you lose too much time on the first 6k if you don't take full aero and your fastest TT bike. Sorry, Craig, you were saying?
No, so so my argument that we were having before we started on so the Zwift Insider article is based on, or the Zwift Insider article was actually about GP Llama's video, So that's based on him, and Eric kind of usually uses the 300 watt 75 kilogram rider as his main test. So when you start getting to that, borderline BA rider, there's absolutely no question. As you start getting slower, or as your watts per kilogram go less and less, especially, I got to say, especially for D riders with big watts, that's where things start to get interesting, and it might not be quite as cut and dry, because you're spending a lot more time on the climb than you are on the flat at that point.
Yeah, well, I think my first effort on this TT, I was a fairly naive D rider. I'm a very big guy. I've always had fairly decent sized raw watts, but my flat effort was about 10, 11 minutes, and I think I spent nearly 20 on the hill. So, yeah, a climbing bike would have been really useful that day. But once you start hitting the top of C and the effort levels start pairing up, I think I'm at about 9.5 and 10 at the moment. The bike swap takes 14, 15 seconds if you're good at it, and most people aren't.
Yeah, I have to practically lean over my handlebars, try and find the mouse, and then it normally takes me about 30 seconds. So it's definitely not even an option for me. Just with the stream starting to get towards the business end of this route, Ben, you feel that this route has 3 clear sections, whereas I think Craig and I are more towards the 2. As we're just coming up to kilometre 5, why don't you just give us a quick breakdown?
So it has a start to the climb. So as you come down and you go through kilometre 5, it starts going back up. So it's been either -1 or 1% from the start all the way here. From kilometre 5 to kilometre 6, it starts hitting 3 to 4% climbs or rises. And if you start, for me, I use this as the start of setting my rhythm, setting my pace for the rest of the ride. But it still does break down into 2. You can ride as a 2-section climb. I know a lot of people do. Both you guys do. But me, I like being a little bit different because that's just the way I am. And I tend to use this kilometre 5 as a pace setter for the rest of the climb.
Yeah, I mean, I generally on the 5th kilometre, so just in terms of pacing on this race, I think I tried to hold about 270 on the flat and 310 on the climb. I would still try and hold around 270 on kilometre 5.
Yeah, it'll work just fine. But so if we look at the times going down the left-hand side of the screen, we'll see that kilometers 1 through 5 are within a couple of seconds of each other. Kilometer 6 is going to be about 15 to 20 seconds longer. Then 7 and 8 are the ones that's going to be all the time. So watching that and doing a number of TTs, that's where I came with this theory. Does it work all the time? Don't know. Don't have to test it a few more times as well. So, but for me, the mental kick. Okay, cool. Kilometer 5, climbing starts. Let's go. That's the way I tend to use it.
So, and let's get in. I guess I put a post up after the last time we did this a few weeks ago for HSRL, and put up my numbers from the last 4 times I've done this, and we've it's funny because all 4 were the same average watts per kilogram to the 10th, so they were all 4.0, and the times are plus or minus 30 seconds. So yeah, there's a really big difference. And my best time is the last one. I think it's the best I've paced it. And so, James, I hit actually almost exactly the same power as you did on the flat. But I weigh a bit more than you, so that's less in watts per kilogram and was a little slower. And then I really hammered it on the climb, and that worked for me. I mean, you were still faster, so that maybe it didn't work. Maybe it's still not perfect, but yeah, no, I definitely think that was. I'm not sure I found the limit of how much I should take it easy on the flat to be able to hammer that 10 minutes.
Yeah, so
I think it's a really fine line.
Yeah,
Like,
for me, so my FTP is sort of in the region of 270, and I know I'm probably going to do this in about 17 and a half minutes. So on the flat, I'll aim for FTP and then a little bit higher on the climb. I think one of the hardest things I always often find is to actually regulate my pace on the flat and not to go too hard too early. I know I can empty myself on the climb, that's not going to be a problem, but keeping my power in check on certainly the first 5 kilometers can often be a little bit difficult. I think a lot of other people that I've spoken to in relation to this course have all said the same as well. I don't know if you guys have similar problems.
yeah, I definitely do. So I'm easily bigger than both you guys, and so I'm looking to do somewhere around 3.1 to 3.2 watts a kilo on the flat. That gets me to the base of the hill just after you guys. So I'm doing 1 minute 30 Ks. And then I'm looking to try to hold somewhere between 3.6 to 3.8. So just under 400 watts. It's painful. There's no other way to describe it. But if I'm not hitting that 1 minute 30 target on the flat Ks, I'm not going to be able to do that 400 watt effort. And that's just the way it needs to be done. You need to work it out. And the only way to do that is kind of to do it. Work out what works, what doesn't, like what Craig's beautiful spreadsheet shows.
So let's talk hardest part of this race. I always find kilometre 6 to 7 the hardest, because I know once I've hit 7 kilometres, you've got a fairly short stretch before the gradient drops out to about 6% for a while, just as you go under the archway. So I know if I get to kilometre 7, I'm nearly there, and there's going to be, in inverted commas, an easier section. How do you guys feel?
So I can't stand the corners. So when you go underneath whatever this beautiful building is, I can't remember, and you go through the corners and it weaves around a bit and gets really nasty and steep. I'm actually watching it on my stream, so it's probably just happened. This 13-14% bit, I despise that as a factor. It just offends me to my core.
Yeah, and it's nasty because the gradient drops down to pretty much flat very briefly, so you're almost spinning out, and then it goes up to 14-15% very quickly, and then you've got the long stretch around 15-16 just as you go through the 7 kilometre marker. So this bit is nasty.
Yeah, and it just offends me to my core as a big guy who can put out lots of watts. I can hurt people on the flat, but that punishes me on the climbs. A 16% sustained climb, that's nasty, and I don't enjoy it.
So I gotta say,
favorite bit of the climb?
The first part, the first kilometer 7 is my favorite part because I can go. For me, it just gets worse and worse and worse as it goes after that, because every time I've done this, have put myself so deep by that point that it's just suffering. And I just want it to end. It doesn't matter that I'd almost rather that it was steeper, because we'd climb to the top faster. I'm just ready to be done and ready to fall over, lay on the floor, and not respond to the people on Discord who are afraid I've actually died for 5 minutes, which may have happened once.
I think it's more like 7.
I think the recovery time is about the same amount of time that it takes you to do the ride. That's my opinion, anyway.
So we're at the point of the race now where we can see the archways coming up. So for me, it's just a case to try and get there. I know there's going to be a very, very brief moment of respite before the hill kicks up again, and then you just hammer it to the finish.
To me, it kind of feels like it flattens off a bit. I don't know if it does. I've never actually taken the time to watch the gradients at this point, and I'm way too buried to read it on the screen. But from going under that archway, which has just happened, from here to the finish, it's just all about whatever's left. It's just whatever is left, give it. You've got another couple of minutes and just catch that wheel in front of you for whatever it's worth.
So, Craig, have you got anything left at this stage?
Never. Absolutely never. It's absolute just trying to keep my legs moving. It's maybe that's not the best way to do it, but well, I do it.
Yeah, we all do.
So
we're carrot riders is what we do.
So at this stage, my body is rocking all over the place, and I'm just trying to hang on, knowing I've only got 300 meters to go, and just trying to keep the watts high, keep the legs turning round, in an awful lot of pain, but I know I'm also really, really close.
Yeah, and the other annoying thing about this TT is it takes forever till you can see the banner. Like, it creeps up on you so slowly, and then all of a sudden it's done. It's, that again is a little bit difficult for a Zwift race, where you can typically see the finish well before you get there. So I don't even think we can see it yet, and there's only like 100 meters to go.
Yeah, it's just around the last corner, and then suddenly it's there. So it's just appearing now, and then everything you have left.
So yeah, sum it up. TT bike, fast wheels, and not everything on the flat and everything on the climb. Nice and simple. 20 minutes, you're done.
Pretty much.
Well,
and have a think about what you want to do pacing-wise before you start. Try and keep to the plan, and good luck.
Good luck, everyone.
Enjoy.
Craig, any parting words of wisdom?
I think the biggest thing to me is be controlled on the flat, because if not, you're going to hurt what you can do on the climb, and it matters most when you're going the slowest.
Thank you very much to both you and Ben for joining me. Anyone who's taking part in this event tomorrow, we have the free races, and I'll post some details on the Facebook group in the next couple of hours. Good luck. Hope it goes well. Enjoy the climbing, and we will be back next week with our second event. So good luck, everyone. Thank you very much. Goodbye.